Hey, what's up? I'm gonna be reviewing a video called Women Peak at 22, but men are just getting started at 30.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about what I call the male advantage and why at 30 years old, this is when we
You looked better when you were younger, whenever that was.
as men are just getting started. Life starts, in my opinion, at 30 years old. It's almost like there's a switch that gets flipped. You know, in your 20s, you're going to be probably like me, a hot mess. Financially, you're trying to figure it out. Me, I was a disaster.
Okay, so you don't have money, which doesn't exist in your 20s. That's why you're a mess. Makes sense?
Me, I was partying too much. I wasn't where I needed or wanted to be. Professionally, financially, I was dating the wrong people. I was sleeping around. I was experimenting with things I shouldn't be experimenting. And I was drinking way too much. But at 30 years old, boom, everything started to change. Now, is it a coincidence? Actually, no. Data and scientific research supports why my life and your life really is going to get better and scale exponentially at the age of 30 as opposed to women.
Yes, of course, exactly. And we can see that by the gray beard also. You're for sure a lot more attractive, especially to younger women now. Yeah, everything just gets better. Some men start losing their hair. Some even get gray hairs already. Yeah, just totally, it's just a peak.
At 30 years old, a woman, if she's not married, if she's not like where she wants to be, she starts to freak out a little bit because looks start to fade, right? Looks are depreciating.
Yeah, and for men, it doesn't fade at all. Yeah. Because you look way better when you're 30 than when you were 20. For sure, yeah.
Asset. When she's 20 years old, when she's 22, 23, 24, 25, boom, life is her oyster. She's getting lots of attention because she's as beautiful as she's going to be, right? Her body is probably banging, but then by the age of 30, her looks start to fade. Not saying she's like a beast or anything, but she starts to get more insecure and she is ultra aware of the fact that her time is running out in terms of her biological clock. And then she looks in the mirror and she's like, oh my God, I'm starting to not look as good as I used to. My wrinkles are starting to come in.
Right, and that doesn't happen for men. Your wrinkles don't come in your 30s. Or is he gonna say that younger girls are attracted to wrinkles, so you're more attractive when you're in your 30s? Not that it's really normal to have at least as many wrinkles as people do have today in their 30s. That should come more so in your 40s, 50s.
My boobies aren't as perky. My booty is starting to fall, right? She starts freaking out, but you, oh man, as a dude, we're just getting started. We're getting better looking. We're making...
Yeah, totally. You just get better looking. The older you get, yeah, just great logic. Hey, what in any way gets better about your looks when you age?
Making more money. We're getting sexy.
Yeah, maybe you're making more money. Oh, what does it matter? It's not gonna attract somebody. It's external. It's an idea anyway. What is he gonna say? Sexier?
Here, our confidence
How exactly?
through the roof. Today, gentlemen,
No, your confidence is through your roof and your testosterone is high as a teenager. If anything, then it's then.
I'm going over why your life isn't even starting before the age of 30. Number one is earning potential. Your
Oh yeah, potential. Let's go.
money, right? The Benjamins, you start making them. At 30 years old, this is when your prime earning potential just starts. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics show that men basically see an increase in their pay and salary 60% between the ages of 30 and 40.
Wow. Oh wow, that's so great. You can really look forward to that. Man-made paper, plastic with symbols, monopoly money. Wow. And what is that supposed to do?
As opposed to women that see a pay plateau at about the age of 32. Number two is you're more attractive in your 30s, starting in your 30s. And then when you hit 40,
Give one example of that ever happening. Come on. You can change your looks, and you could technically, let's say, if you compare somebody between the late 20s and early 30s, you could look better if you change a lot about your looks. Yeah. But I'm talking about somebody who is the way he is. If they simply age, why would they look better? You can still look fine, but why better? You will never be more attractive, right? Take whatever guy you want. Or best looking guys on earth, Leonardo DiCaprio, right? The best he looked was in Titanic, how old was he there? I don't know. Maybe 18, 19, 20, something around the 20s, whatever, something around there. He looked worse when he was in his 30s. He didn't look bad. But I'm just saying, Brad Pitt also, take whatever guy you want. They always look better naturally. It's how it's supposed to be when they're in their, well, whatever, let's just say 20, yeah? My point is simply that humans are attracted to youth, fertility. Doesn't matter if it's men or women. Women don't really openly talk about it the same way men do, but we are all into the same. It's just human nature.
You actually get more attractive. And then once you...
Well, you look less attractive, I would think, maybe a woman can say, with the gray beard now. You're just looking like somebody whose fertility is lower now. You're older. It's not as attractive simply anymore. And as I said, some guys get a gray beard or gray hair in their 30s, or they don't even have hair or whatever. Usually everything gets worse.
get closer to 50 if you still have like your hair and a decent body.
Yeah, if you do, which most men don't today, in their 50s for sure.
Guys, like next level, like you are a sexy dude, all right? Here's the reality. When you're
The way he says it, if you still have your hair, meaning that if you don't, well, you're not actually that attractive. And seeing as most men at least have some kind of hair loss by their 50s already for sure, you're basically just saying that your whole video is wrong, that people or men get more unattractive. Obviously women also.
20s, you're still a little bit awkward, right? You're growing into your features a little bit. You might have some acne. Your hairstyle isn't as good as
Acne is unnatural. It never happens in nature. Hairstyle? What does that matter? Yeah, a little bit.
it could be, and your style isn't that great. You're working out, but it's not really paying the dividends that
Well, to get this kind of a body, you need to hop on steroids.
it will when you hit your 30s, right? 30 years old, it's like this magic number. Like I said, your body starts to respond. You get better muscles. You get and you look more manly and
Better muscles? How?
masculine. You start to grow into your body and your features, and your face gets more defined. Not to mention your facial hair a lot of times will get thicker. A lot of times when we're in our 20s, we're a little bit patchy, we're a little bit like sparse, but 30s, that's when things start to fill in. You start to fill out, and you look amazing. And then when you hit 40, if you've done the things you need to do in terms of stay working out, eat right, dress well, keep your hair, have good skin, do skincare, and all the things you need to do, 40s, it's like to that next level again. Women find men in their late 30s, early 40s as the most attractive.
What? Show me anybody who says that. Oh my god. By this logic, you would have to be able to take a girl who's 20 years old and then present her photos of the same guy or different guys if you want to, and compare them between the ages of 20, 30, 40, and the girls would have to pick the 40-year-old guy. If women find that attractive, it shouldn't matter how old the girl is. You hit puberty, you become a man, officially biologically, and then whenever you have your peak, however you want to see it, if this is the logic, it should just get better and better. So when you're 90, you should be the most attractive, right? If that's, well, if we follow biology, which I hope that we do, then that's how it should go, by his logic. But no, what is the actual peak then? The peak is obvious.
There were a bunch of studies that showed women, dudes at different ages, and they statistically, consistently said guys that are in their late 30s, early 40s were viewed as the
This was what? Some questionnaire?
most attractive. Women, it's like 22. Like literally, 22 years old is like max, and then they
What kind of women said that? Show me one woman on the streets who will say that. What is this nonsense, man?
start to fall, sag, and wrinkle up a little bit. Not saying that they're unattractive, but
Yeah, men also do.
their beauty and their looks do tend to fade with age, as opposed to men, we age like fine wine.
Oh my god, just show me one example. Just put some kind of pictures up. Even you yourself look worse now.
We get better, sexier, more amazing. Number 3 is your confidence. You're more
Nah, he just wants to talk the man into believing this nonsense. I get it for his business, but it's messed up to lie to men like this.
comfortable in your own skin. And that's something that I personally noticed, all right? When I was in my 20s, I was still wildly insecure. I wasn't real confident myself. I also had a bunch
Yeah, that's why you have to shout the whole time in all of the videos.
of like failures. I also still had not dealt with the things that I needed to deal with in terms of my past. But when I hit like 30 years old and I went to therapy and I started to see and string some successes together, like that's when like I just felt good about myself. Guys, therapy is something that I feel every single person can benefit from because I know what it did for me. All right, up until when I was basically like in my 30s, I was struggling with a lot of the issues that happened to me when I was younger. I was also carrying a lot of the pain and the baggage to like relationships. And unfortunately, because I never dealt with them, it was self-sabotaging these relationships. But because I decided that I wanted to be healthy and happy, I went to therapy, I dealt with my issues, I got new tools that I didn't have before, and I also got a third-party perspective. And when this happened, everything in my life, like I said, got better. I ended up meeting my wife, and I think it was directly correlated to the fact that I was finally open and ready to meet somebody that was amazing, and I stopped self-sabotaging. Guys, if...
Am I crazy, or is there a therapist sponsorship coming up in a second? Get help, or whatever you call them, get better.
If you're ready to take control of your future, your happiness, and basically the rest of your life, I want you to hit that link down below and check out BetterHelp.
Oh my god, man, this guy's so fake, man. What the fuck? I fucking knew it. Of course, yeah, all this talk, therapy really helped me.
They are today's video sponsor. If you go through my link, betterhelp.com/alpha-m, you're going to answer a few...
He just does anything to get the fucking money out of the people, man. Just anything. Just says whatever you want to hear. Come on, man.
questions. Getting started is super simple and super fast, right? You answer a few questions and then you're going to be matched with a therapist usually within a few days. And then you're going to be able to have your therapy any way that's most convenient for you, whether or not it's your phone, your...
And therapy it's a whole different topic. It's total bullshit at the end of the day.
The next reason why life begins at 30 for dudes is that dating gets so much easier. When you're in your 20s, you're chasing, right? And a lot of these women that you're finding attractive that are also in their 20s, they're not interested in you. They're interested in the dudes.
If you're chasing somebody, then yeah, they are not interested in you, obviously. Because if anything, the girl should chase you or be into you. It at least should be mutual. If you chase her, she's getting away from you. What do you chase in nature? An animal when you're trying to hunt it down. The same as the animal, she's trying to get away from you. She's not interested in you. Maybe even afraid of you, disgusted, who knows? If you chase somebody, there's no interest. Come on, wake up.
Because women are like hardwired to want a dude that is successful, that is responsible, that's secure. And it doesn't start when you're in your 20s. They are chasing you when you're in your 30s.
What did he say? I can't even listen to him anymore. Successful, responsible, some nonsense. What? Yeah, naturally successful, as in tall and good looking.
Which makes it awesome. You literally will have your pick of the spiciest of senoritas. The next reason is peak leadership and influence. When you're young, like I said, you worry about stupid, insignificant shit, but once you hit about 30, you start to realize that a lot of the things you worried about when you were younger just doesn't matter. Less pressure to look young and beautiful. Not saying that you don't look young and beautiful, but women feel a tremendous amount of pressure, which is sad, honestly, because the reality is that if you just take care of yourself, you don't smoke, you don't do drugs, you don't drink too much, you work out, you exercise, you eat healthy, you take care of your skin, you're going to look good. Good for your age anyway. But with society telling women they need to look like these like 22-year-old women, it unfortunately leads them to do some things that I feel is detrimental, right? There's this obsession with looking young, this obsession with plastic surgery, this obsession with not aging. A man... We don't feel...
Yeah, but the only reason this happens is because they don't have children. Women who have children don't have this obsession because they already did what they were naturally supposed to. Whereas women who don't, if they are in their 30s and they don't have children yet, they do all of this stuff because they are so obsessed with staying attractive. Staying young just means staying attractive. It's the same thing. Because they still want to attract a mate. And if you're in your 40s and you have no children, then you go completely nuts with all kinds of surgeries just to look younger, just to attract a mate.
That same pressure. The other reality is that as we start...
And by the way, then if you're in your 50s and you went through your menopause, then you just give up. Then you cut your hair short and just don't care anymore because you can't get pregnant anymore and then it's done.
start to get older, even though we are aging, the pressure isn't there for us to look like we're 22, because honestly, we don't want to look like we were 22. You still should have a good body. You should still have good skin. If you want to keep your hair, you need to do what you need to do in order to keep it. But the pressure is not the same. The pressure at 30 and beyond is internal as opposed to external. Women a lot of times feel that external
He always in every video has a really red neck.
pressure, which unfortunately is going to perpetuate for the rest of their life. The last reason why life begins at 30 is your confidence starts to climb. When you're in your 20s, you're super insecure. When you're in your teens,
Right. Yeah. Some super tall and handsome guy is super insecure. Yeah. And if you're not attractive, then, oh yeah, because with age you become more attractive. So if you're unattractive and short in your 20s, you will grow and become more attractive in your 30s and 40s. So it just gets better. So yeah, then you will be more confident. Yeah, totally makes sense.
you're even more wildly insecure. But at around 30 years old, all these things start to come into play, start to get better, and you start to feel better about yourself. You also don't stress out or worry about a lot of the things that you worried about when you were younger. But I can tell you from experience, 30 was amazing, 40 was even better. And I'm actually
But you looked worse in your 40s.
looking forward to turning 50. It doesn't
Yeah, for sure, man. Just lie to yourself as long as you believe it.
scare me like it used to. When I hit 30 years old, I was
There's nothing scary about it. It's just natural.
scared, honestly. It was a hard birthday for me because I wasn't where I wanted to be. I had no
Does this guy even have children? Then it's probably the reason. Why would you be afraid of aging? If you do what you naturally want to do, then it's fine. You have children, they have children, you have your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. What's the problem? Yeah, you're afraid of aging when you feel like you're becoming infertile.
clue where my life was going to go or the opportunities that were going to present themselves or the direction I was going to take. But the beautiful thing is that with age comes wisdom. Now looking back, I can say, wow, like that was incredible. But you've got to understand that we as men have an advantage over women. Stop thinking that it's over at 25. It's not. You're not even getting started. You're not even scratching the surface. At 30, for men, this is when it starts.
Let's quickly go through this list of celebrities. It's photoshopped images of how they used to look like and how they look like now. I'm gonna skip this sicko. The guy from Friends. Yeah. When did he look better? Well, for sure on the right side, obviously. Oh yeah, look, he just aged into the perfect man on the left, of course. No, he wasn't more attractive on the right. Yeah, just whatever you want to believe. Yeah. Okay, that's different. There's also photos of how they were when they were really young. Who is that? Freddie Mercury? Okay, whatever. Before my time. Obama. Okay, yeah, okay, some of these. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, Clint Eastwood. He was very tall and pretty good looking. Only got worse with age. David Bowie. Okay, not gonna comment on that. Okay, pretty similar. The guy aged well. Yeah, again. Oh, come on. Okay, it's a woman, but yeah. Well, you would say with the women, yeah. Well, that's understandable. Johnny Depp, come on, man. Come on. Just again, funny hairstyle, of course, for the show, but yeah, just and you can't find one example of somebody who looked better. Except if they drastically change something about themselves. It's clear that this guy, Alpha M, just wants to make some money from his viewers who are in their 40s, 50s. I get it. It's sort of messed up. You do what you do to survive, I guess. Maybe he needs a lot of money to pay for services because he has trouble. I don't know what the reason for it is. He just wants to live comfortably, whatever the case. Obviously, he had a hard life. That's clear. That's why he focused so much on the bodybuilding, the gym, the money, because that's what you do when nothing else works. When you can't get what you naturally want, then you focus on something else, thinking that that's going to help. It's not conscious, but people do that. Deep down, they know why they do what they do, but to actually accept it, and to realize it, to not lie to themselves, That's a hard thing to do. That's why he keeps telling the guys that you look better and better, because to accept that you look worse now that you're older and that you maybe never really looked that good is hard. You maybe even look at photos of your old self and think, yeah, oh, I look better now with my gray beard and my wrinkles because I've got tons of money and I work out now or something. Except if you were super fat or something. Like I said, except if there was a really drastic change, you're never actually gonna look better when you're older. How could anybody even possibly believe that? What's the difference between men and women exactly? Why would they look worse but we look better? Give one explanation for this stupid belief. Thanks for watching, guys.